We got the big fry, the big kahuna, Deaconess Sicarrii. Let's see what this girl's going to say.
Mr. Shamoun, we finally meet.
You worship a false god, right? You don't worship the Trinity?
So you want to talk about the Trinity, or can we talk about eschatology?
I'd rather focus on God and then decimate you on eschatology.
Will you grant me this? If we talk about the Trinity,
yeah,
then we have to talk about eschatology following after.
I will definitely do that and prove that you're a fake Israelite. You're not a true Israelite.
Okay, and I want to prove you're a fake Assyrian.
Okay, I don't care, because I don't need to be a Assyrian to be saved. But you think you need to be an Israelite to be saved. So I'll bury you in that argument.
He only came to the Israelites.
You sure about that?
24.
You sure about that? Quote that again?
Yeah, Matthew 15:24.
Okay, now go to Matthew 10. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, right? But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Just like what Jesus said in Matthew 15:24. But you agree with me, right? They don't go to the Gentiles. The Gentiles here are not the sheep of Israel, right?
Correct.
Okay, you agree. I want everyone here. Say it a little louder, Deacon.
Yes, true indeed.
Okay, Matthew 10:17-18. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. So are they going to bear witness to the Gentiles?
It didn't say that anybody was getting salvation.
You want to bet?
To the Gentiles.
Let's go to Matthew 24:14, because now I'm going to bury you deeper. Matthew 24:14. You got busted. Booyah. Let me read it. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Now, Matthew 12:18-21. Booyah shaka. You biblical illiterate. Let me read it for you.
Okay,
Matthew
read it,
18-21. Behold, my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not strive. Well, let me finish. Stop barking, dude. Hold on. He shall not strive, nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench, till he send forth judgment unto victory. And in his name shall the Gentiles trust. Booyah in your face. Booyah shaka. So the Gentiles are going to trust in who?
I get the rebuttal. This is my time to rebut.
Yeah, go ahead, rebut.
Okay, perfect. So you go to Matthew 10 and you try to say that it was about bearing witness. That was eisegeting. Then you go to Matthew 20:12. He said he's going to show.
You believe there's a context to Matthew, or you like to take verses out of context?
Judgment to the Gentiles is not granting them eternal salvation.
Yes, it is. 21. Yes, it is. 21. 21 in your face. It says they're going to trust in his name. Stop lying. If they trust in his name, what happens?
I want to know, was Jesus Christ lying when he said, I am only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel?
I want to know, was Jesus Christ lying when he says, through the disciples, they'll make disciples of all nations, and all nations will trust in him and hear the gospel? Was he lying?
Okay. Now, notice how I'm going to answer you, but you're not going to answer me.
No, I just answered you.
The reason why Jesus has to, let me answer. The reason why Jesus has to told the disciples to go to all nations is because the Israelites were scattered in all nations.
That's not what he says. You're lying. That's not what he said.
When he said they were only
That's not what he said.
Israelites.
Quote me where he said that. That's why he's going to the nations.
Was he lying when he said he's only
I'm going to hang up on you if you don't show me. Show me where he says you're going to the nations because of the Israelites among them. Stop adding to the words of Jesus, you son of the devil. Quote it.
I'll show you. Let me go through my line of scriptures like you did.
Go show me where he says they're going to the nations because of the Jews.
Okay, let me show you my scriptures.
Go ahead. Give me one at a time.
Matthew 15:24, he said he is
Matthew 15:24. Okay, yeah. Okay, there we go to Matthew 15:24. See, he's a clown, you see? He's a joke, like his God. Booyah shaka. Booyah shaka, deaconess. You got schooled, sucker, and it's now recorded. Now, I hope you're not a Hebrew Israelite going to tell me where my mother's been and where she's going to go and what will happen to my daughters.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm calling because I'm having a bit of a conflict within myself, and I just, really want to know if you could help. Just so you understand my background.
Someone just said you're a Sicarrii leader.
Well, I may or may not be a black Hebrew Israelite, but that's not what I'm calling.
No, but they say you're a leader, a Sicarrii leader, Adonis Glaude.
Yes, Adonis Glaude is my name. So if you could walk with me, Sam.
It depends, man. Sometimes I don't like the journeys people take me on. What is it? Give me your question. Let's see.
I understand, but my thing is, some would say I've been pulled into a cult, right? Now, I grew up, just so you can understand my background, I grew up as a Roman Catholic, all right? I was baptized and, pretty much my whole life until, I started coming across some of this information.
Okay.
And recently, my mother, who's white for the record, and not even just recently, just over the years since I've come into what some would call a cult, she's urged me consistently to come back to the church. Right.
Good one.
But to be honest with you, due to some of the reservations and things I have and kind of lack of an ability to come across anybody to, I think, adequately represent the church. It's just never happened. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know. I heard you were Catholic. I don't know. I'd honestly rather talk to somebody who's Catholic in regards to this. Are you Catholic?
There are a lot of doctrines of the Catholic Church I hold to, yes. I mean, so what doctrines of the Catholic Church disturb you?
I mean, to be honest, it's certain doctrines, but also it's like the history. You got to understand that.
Yeah, before you get to the history, give me the specific doctrines you struggle with, because I have someone that's confirmed. She knows you because she deals with the Black Hebrew Israelites. You told a guy named Brother Polite that he could kill his mother. He was okay with that. So it's okay.
I told him that there's nothing morally wrong with it. That's what I said.
Good job. I like that. I love the moral code that you guys espouse. So, but what doctrines of the Catholic Church? Be specific so we can get to it.
Okay, so some of the doctrines of the Catholic Church, maybe purgatory, the perpetual virginity of Mary,
yes,
and some of just the hierarchical, the papacy, etc.
Yeah,
I take issue with. I don't know which of those you hold to, though.
Now, I just want to ask a question because I don't know what your particular branch of Hebrew Israelites believe. Do you believe in the virgin birth of Christ, that he was conceived and born from the Virgin Mary?
No, sir.
Okay, so why are you even worried about the perpetual virginity of Mary when you don't even believe in the virgin conception and birth of Christ?
Well, the reason is because it's a fundamental Catholic ideology.
Yeah.
So,
but let's first get down the virginal conception and birth of Christ, because if there's no virginal conception or birth of Christ, there's no perpetual virginity, because she wasn't a virgin to begin with when she conceived Christ. So why do you reject the virginal conception and birth of Christ?
When I read the text, and of course understanding the prophecies, I understand that this all had to happen by the seed of David.
And what does the seed of David mean?
The seed of David means David's seminal fluid.
And how could David's seminal fluid be transferred to Jesus when he was dead 1,000 years before the birth of Jesus?
Well, of course, he had descendants that were created from his seminal fluid, and they had such.
No, you're not listening to yourself. You see, this is the problem I have. You didn't listen. You said he has to be the seed of David, and you said the seminal fluid of David. But now you extended that to the seed of his descendants. That's not what you said. So it's not literally the seed of David, right? It's not literally his seminal fluid, right?
Well, him particularly, no.
Okay. So right there, you just answered yourself. You just proved that the seed of David cannot be literal, because David did not inseminate Mary to give birth to Jesus. So that means you have to look elsewhere to know what seed means. For example, in Genesis 3:15, the seed of the woman. Does woman have seminal fluid?
No.
But wait, it says seed of the woman, Genesis 3:15. Explain how a woman can have seed, Genesis 3:15.
Well, if we could just slow down for a second, because the high priest is called the seed of Aaron, and the Israelites are the seed of Jacob, but they're not the seed of either of those people.
Good job. No, so you just made my case. Seed doesn't mean from the seminal fluid. It means to be a physical descendant thereof. So what proof do you have that Jesus can't be the seed of David from his mother's side?
Well, number one, what proof do you have that Mary is a descendant of David?
The fact that Jesus is called the son of David.
Okay, so that in and of itself is self-evident that Mary is of a descendant of David.
Logically, if Mary is his mother and he has no biological father, and yet he's the son of David, then the only conclusion you can arrive at is that Mary has to be of the household of David. You need to prove that Jesus has a biological father. That's from David. Who's his biological father?
Well, this is the problem with that. Mary only has one relative that we see documented in the scriptures. Is she a descendant of David, or even of the same tribe as David?
You should know better that priests could marry any virgin from the tribes of Israel.
No, I don't disagree with that, and I'm not.
But I'm answering your question. So you're not listening to the answer. You're already anticipating how to object.
No,
Elizabeth being his kinswoman. See, there you go again. You're talking over me. Go ahead. Tell me what you want to hear so I can repeat it back to you. Listen to the answer. You're referring to, I'm even going to tell you what you're referring to because you didn't mention it. You're referring to Luke 1:36, where Elizabeth is said to be the kinswoman of Mary, sun genis. That means that Elizabeth on her mother's side would have been a Judahite, because Levites could marry any woman from any tribe. So that doesn't prove that Mary is not a daughter of David. It proves that Elizabeth would have had Davidic blood from her mother's side. Prove me wrong.
Well, that's a good assertion, because of course it doesn't elaborate upon who her mother is.
No, I'm asking you skipped my answer. Who is the biological father of Jesus that made him the son of David? You didn't answer that.
Well, let's just go first. What? I mean, if we go to Matthew 1, it clearly gives him a genealogy of a man. I don't understand why.
No. Finish it. Don't play games with me, Matthew. Go to 18 to 25. That actually shows you just butchered the text. Read it. Go to Matthew 1.
I've never butchered the text. Why would the genealogy of a man who has no biological relation to Jesus Christ be listed in
you want to read, or do you want me to hang up on you? You've got 5 seconds to decide. 5,
Sam,
4.
Why are you going to hang up? I've been respectful.
Go to Matthew 1. Matthew 1. Bye-bye.
Listen,
Apollos, go kiss Adonis. Bye-bye, Apollos.
Why I have to be hung up on?
Yep, stinking wicked cowards. The dude it quotes Matthew, but he doesn't quote 18 to 25. See their jokes. They can't show you Jesus has a biological father, so I have to butcher Matthew 1. The same Matthew that says that Joseph did not touch Mary, did not know her sexually until she gave birth to her son. Matthew 1:16, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. You guys see that word of whom? You know what of whom means? Let me give you the lexicon. That word of whom is feminine. It means he was born of Mary, not of Joseph. Did you know that? Even the word of whom is feminine. It's not masculine. To reiterate the fact he is of Mary, not of Joseph, even though Mary was engaged to Joseph. Here, let me show it to you. This is why I wanted to go to Matthew, but he didn't want to. He just wants to say, whoa. Here you go. It's Andra Marias or Marias ek hes. Guess what that word hes is? Whom? Guys, click on the link. What I want you to do is take your cursor where you see underneath it says relpro-gfs. When you put your cursor, it says personal relative pronoun, genitive, feminine, singular. It's a feminine singular pronoun, meaning he was born of her, not of him.
Sam is afraid of me. Sam knows me very well. He's afraid of me. The last thing he wants to do is to challenge me in a formal debate.
I'm shaking. That's why I'm here, because you keep barking. Now I'm shaking. I'm afraid, and I'm going to barbecue you and your fake God. Now we're going to play your game. Who is Jesus in relationship to the Father, so I can begin your barbecue?
He's obviously the Son.
Okay. Okay, so
oh my goodness.
You believe that the Father and the Son are one, right?
That shows you how dumb you are, because I never said that.
Tell us who the Father and Son are and stop barking, dude.
No, you just said, I said the Father and the Son are the same person. Where did I say that in the debate? Matt Slick wouldn't even agree with that.
You believe the Father and the Son are one, right? That's what I just said.
Okay, of course they are.
So why are you now misrepresenting me? In what sense are they one?
They share the same nature.
Okay, what does that mean they share the same nature?
Wow. I have to explain to you what it means.
Wow. Oh, wow. Do the tap dance. What is it?
John 1:18, he is in the bosom of the Father. He is qualified as... I'm going to finalize my statement.
Bosom of the Father. John 1:18.
I'm going to finalize my statement. He is called Theos as a statement of predication, which means he shares in the same nature.
I know you're throwing out fancy terms that you don't know how to define. What does predication mean?
That means they share in the same essence, the same nature.
So is Jesus...
was I wrong?
Well done. Look, if you become... Now, I know you're manifesting.
I got a formal debate.
So Jesus...
So how about we do a formal debate?
Jesus, the man on earth, divine... That man, was he divine?
Did he have a divine nature? No. He had a divine titles. I didn't finish. He has a divine titles because he humbled himself and took upon himself a nature which is human, as per Philippians 2:6 and 7, to people who know actually know how to read and actually understands what the word morphe means in the Greek, as per Philippians 2:6 and 7.
Define what morphe means.
Form.
What does form mean?
I have to explain to you what a form is.
No, I'm trying to tell that you're stupid, that you don't know the Bible. You pretend because you throw out fancy words. What does form mean?
Form is not really a fancy word. Maybe it is to you. It's not a fancy word.
Okay, answer the question.
I can't explain form any better. How about this? Okay, no, I'm going to respond. So Philippians 2:6, when it says him being continuous present, in the form of God, did not consider his equality with God something to hold on to. So since I have to hold your hand across the street, so basically what it means, form of God in that statement, it means that he is equal to God as once you compare it to the rest of the statement.
As a distinct person with the Father before the incarnation?
I'm sorry?
So now I want to bury you with your words. So you're saying in the form of God means he's equal to God. So that person was with the Father before creation as an equal divine person?
Exactly.
Oh, so you do believe the Son was there before creation with the Father?
Exactly. And if you saw my debate with Matt Slick, and you made a statement as it relates to my debate with Matt Slick, saying I lost the debate. If you did, I made that clear in the debate, and Matt Slick understood that. So if you didn't understand that, so you have some comprehension issues.
Can you now move on and stop the barking little?
No, I'm just saying that you have comprehension issues. I'm the one with a demon, but you don't understand simple concepts.
Keep going. Down, girl. Keep going. Now, okay, so he was there. We got you to admit that before creation, he was there as an equal divine person with the Father. So now what happened?
I've been saying that. So
what happened?
I will continue and go to verse 7, but that's been my position, and the fact that you just know, I will relax. Just showing that you have.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Verse 7. If verse 6 says him being in the form of God, do not consider his equality with God something to hold on to. So when it says form, morphe of God, that equates him to being God. So when it says, but he humbled himself and took the form, morphe of a human. So that would mean
that doesn't say form of human. You misquoted it. Read it.
Form of the likeness of man. I'm sorry. No, the likeness of man, and the likeness of man is human.
Word morphe was not used in that part. It's schema. Go back and tell me what form he took.
It says, but humbled himself and took the likeness.
I want you to quote.
No, I got it. And took the form of a servant in the likeness of man. Basically, that's what it says.
Okay, so how do you take the form of a servant? Servant is not a nature; it's a position and status. So Einstein, tell me, how do you take the form of a servant?
Well, it says likeness of man. That's why I say.
But wait, hold on. Let's go with the term morphe, which you thought you knew. Okay,
so go ahead.
Being the form of a servant, taking the form of a servant cannot mean taking the nature, because servant is a position and status, right?
It does not disqualify that.
No, I didn't ask this. So answer the question I asked, not the one you imagine in your mind, because I know you're having a conversation with a demon in your mind.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
The form of a servant doesn't mean nature. It means status and position, right?
It does not disqualify that.
See, again, you can't answer questions, you see?
No, you're trying to disqualify that, and I'm saying it doesn't.
Of a servant, because even angels are servants in status, Hebrews 1:7, but they're not human, Einstein.
I agree. I didn't say it necessitates.
Taking the form of a servant means status, correct?
I'm going to repeat my position and try to pay attention this time, because you have comprehension issues. I said it. Okay, but listen, I said it does not disqualify that. Therefore, it doesn't mean it necessitate. I didn't finalize my statement. It does not necessitate a nature. That is my position.
Good. So we're on the same page. All right. Now, because you're arguing,
the first time.
Let me tell you what you're arguing. Because he went from having the form of God to the form of a servant, that means he wasn't divine on earth.
That's not my argument.
Even you just said earlier that when Jesus
I said likeness of man. I don't
and I repeat what you said. It's recorded. You said Jesus on earth had divine titles, but it wasn't because he had divine nature. Did you not say that?
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm representing you if you stop manifesting, because now you
misqualify what I said about Philippians 2:7.
Can I make the point?
Yeah, but don't misrepresent me.
Your argument here is the form of God, that he somehow emptied it. He doesn't have the form of God because he took the form of the servant.
Because every single time, 5 times the word kanao is used, and it always means empty.
I'm not going into the word ekinosin, Einstein. I'm going to the word form. Your argument is that having the form of God, and then he took the form of a servant, man. Because he took the form of a servant, he no longer has the form of God, right? Because he's not divine on earth?
No, my argument is predicated on 3 things, actually. The fact that he humbled himself and he emptied himself, kanao, and that the fact is the likeness of man, his form, he emptied himself.
What does it mean? Now, this is where your burial begins, because you just said form does not necessitate nature, but status. So yes, he emptied himself of his divine status, not nature. The demons, the demons manifesting. Hey,
oh my goodness,
moron!
What are you talking about?
Status?
Derek.
You know how you know it's status?
Yeah, go ahead, tell me.
Philippians 2:9-11. It says God therefore exalted him and gave him the name, because in the context it's talking about him setting aside his status as God and taking the status of a slave and then being exalted to his status as God. It has nothing to do with giving up one nature for another, you idiot.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. In light of what you just said, which is totally ridiculous, let me ask you this question. Try to pay attention. Because you have, like I said, you have comprehension issues. So let me ask you a question. So let me ask you this question before I ask you the real question. Was the Son of God still in heaven during the incarnation?
Well, if he's God by nature, he's omnipresent. And according to John 3:13, no one is ascended to heaven, but he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man who is in heaven. So John 3:13 says yes.
Okay, so perfect. Thank you very much. And I actually asked that to Matt Slick, and he choked. That's why he really lost the debate. But I'm going to ask you now. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question, because again, you have comprehension issues. So let me ask you this question. So what nature? What nature? So the Son of God was still in heaven. What nature did he have in heaven?
If he's in heaven on earth, that refers to divine nature, because as a man, and the physical body is limited to time and space. What don't you get? But go ahead.
I'm going to ask you the question one more time because you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, let me
nice more solid. Wait, listen. You're agitated.
Okay. Avery, can you open up the Bible verses so I can Muslim? Because
no. Let's bring it. You're going to ask the question. Because now you're.
I know demons are afraid of the Bible.
I know.
As God, he is omnipresent. He is present everywhere. Okay. It's like asking me, where was the Father when Jesus on earth? Well, Jesus says, the Father's in me and I'm the Father. So the Father was in heaven and on earth, but how? Because he's not physical. So how was he in heaven on earth? Because as God is omnipresent.
That's not the question I asked you. Nice diversion.
I'm answering the question.
Avery, you say let him finish. Every time I corner him, he's interrupting. So I'm going to ask him the question. No, I'm going to ask him again because this is really checkmate. This is the question right before.
Now, as he's marking, set up the verse, John 14.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you again, when the Son was in heaven, what nature did he have? According to your divine nature. Okay, so he had a divine nature in heaven and bodily form?
And on earth.
Okay, he had a divine nature in heaven, and that was a bodily form, right?
And on earth. No.
So no. Let me finalize my statement. So basically what you're saying is he had a bodily form, a divine form in heaven, and a bodily form which is human and divine on earth. So that's two persons. You just checkmate. That's checkmate.
Okay, can I respond to your barking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Forms are not persons. Forms is what persons assume. So one person can have two forms simultaneously. So now look at what you did. You equated form with person. Only someone stupid and demonic would think form means person. Having two forms does not necessarily two persons.
I said bodily form. I said
even if you take a bodily form, one person can assume a bodily shape, and that person, if he's God, can then assume another shape because he can appear in multiple shapes simultaneously at the same time and be one person. And now let me bury and prove it to you. Acts 2 verses 1-4, the Holy Spirit appeared in 120 tongues of fire simultaneously. But according to you, that means he's 120 spirits.
No, dumb. Hey, I'm going to respond to you and stop manifesting. Stop manifesting and try to project your manifestation on people.
Yes, I know.
I said bodily form. So there's a bodily form according to you that's divine in heaven, and there's
I didn't say that. You twisted my words. So you're lying. That's what
that was what I was arguing for.
No, and I was trying to refute.
You're interrupting me again because you're manifesting. Because you're manifesting again. No, because you got checkmate. You got checkmate.
Yeah, again, like you checkmated
last time as well.
In your own narcissistic worldview. Maybe I can explain to you. This moron thinks that form of God means that God by nature has a shape of some kind. This is what they do.
Did I use the word shape again?
Can I? Sam?
I said
bodily shape.
I said embodiment. Don't use the word shape. I never
bodily shape. Did you not say that? You're recorded.
Used the word shape once during
Did you say bodily shape on earth? Yes or no?
No, I didn't say. I never used the word shape. Again, you have comprehension.
Did he say bodily shape?
Never. I said bodily form. I said what? Form. Everybody.
And then you also said bodily shape.
No, I never said that. Bodily form.
Let's go with your use of terms, bodily form. You think that God, because he has a form, that form means that
bodily form. Do you have comprehension?
Does God have a body by nature?
Please.
Does God have a body by nature?
Of course.
Okay, so now again, Einstein, let's work through this. So did God create all time, space, and place?
I said he has a bodily form.
Okay, did God create all time, space, and place?
Yes.
Before there was time and space and place, did God have a bodily form?
Yes.
How can he have a body before time and space exist when a body requires space and place?
How dumb are you?
Okay,
First of all, number one. No, wait. First of all, to suggest that you have a person. Can I respond? Because saying wow.
So this is to ask Sam a clarifying question. In regards to Morphe. So why does Paul use genomenos in verse 7 to emphasize the human likeness and the form of a slave in relation to morphe theon in verse 6?
Yes, because in that context, to be a servant, you're either a spirit creature or a human creature, right? Because anything created is created to serve God. For example, in Hebrews 1:7, angels are servants of God, ministers, right? They're spirits or minister servants. And if you go to Revelation 22:8-9, there, what does the angel tell John? I am a fellow servant, slave like you. So when it says that he took the form of a slave, how did he do so? He didn't become an angelic creature. He became human without ceasing to be an eternal divine person. Because to be a servant either means you're an angelic creature or a human creature, correct? Because humans and angels, they are created to serve God. So Paul is explaining the way he took the status of a slave is by becoming human. Humans are created to serve God and reign with God. So we are a kingdom of priests who are called to serve God. So when he became human, that's when he takes the status of a slave and humbles himself and makes himself nothing.
That Greek word, being born, and that Greek word there for born in human likeness is to emphasize that the form of a slave is such that there's a transition into now this like a genuine shape in this sense, like a genuine morphe, versus you can't then define a so-called shape in verse 6. That's the point. Now he's transitioning to incarnation, basically.
Yeah, not to catch up. What I was trying to emphasize that obviously form of a slave, when you talk about slave, that's a position, that's a status. What do you mean form of a slave? What do you mean form of a servant? The word morphe can and does convey a certain likeness by which you can determine the subject's nature. For example, if I see an angel, the very fact I'm looking at an angel, I know he's a servant. I'm trying to make it clear and simple so that others. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So when I see a human being, I know by what I'm looking at visibly, I'm looking at a servant. So when it says that Jesus is in the form of God, and this is something you'll find in Isaiah 6, God will often appear visibly. That visible manifestation of God, what we call the glory of God, is such by which when you see God in that visibility, you know you're looking at God. For example, Isaiah 6. You remember when Isaiah saw the Lord seated on a throne high and lofty, and the train of his robe filled the temple? And he goes, woe is me, right? I'm a man of unclean lips, and I live in the midst of a people of unclean lips, yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Well, how do you know he was looking at God? Because God assumed a form, a visible form, by which the person beholding him would know he's looking at God, not a servant, not a creature. Similarly, when Paul talks about Jesus being in the form of God, when you see Jesus in heaven, you know you're looking at God, but it's not because God by nature has a bodily form that existed before creation. When God creates time, space, and place, and he creates shapes and forms, he can assume any form, any shape, at any time because he's almighty. And that's what you find the Holy Spirit doing in Acts 2, verses 1-4, where the Spirit appears as 120 tongues of fire. Now, why do I keep saying 120 tongues of fire? Because in Acts 1:15, we are told that there are about 120 waiting in the upper room for the Holy Spirit to come upon them. And then in Acts 2, verses 1-4, the Spirit comes and they all see what look like visible tongues of fire, and then they speak in various tongues and languages. Mm-hmm. So they're seeing a shape, a form, a bodily form, just like when the Holy Spirit descended in bodily shape, bodily form like a dove in Luke 3:22. Now, the Holy Spirit is neither a dove by nature, nor does he have a bodily form that is shaped like a dove, nor does he have the form of tongues of fire, but he can assume these different forms or bodily shapes or bodily forms, whatever term you want to use, in order to convey something about his person and work. That's even similar, and I don't want to belabor the point, but I'm trying to make the point. Even in Revelation, you'll see in Revelation 1:12-18, Jesus assumes a different bodily form from the one he appears in Revelation 5:6. In Revelation 5:6, he appears as a young male lamb with the throat slit because he looked like slain, but he's alive, with 7 horns and 7 eyes. Is Jesus literally a young lamb? But then in Revelation 1, he appears as the Son of Man and as the Ancient of Days, and he shines like the sun, and his voice is like the sound of rushing waters. So what does Jesus actually look like in heaven? What does he look like? Does he look like the Son of Man in the Ancient of Days? Burnished bronze and his countenance shine like the sun, or does he look like a lamb? Because God, who is formless and shapeless and bodiless by nature, when he creates time, space, and place, and bodies and shapes, he can then assume any body and shape that he so chooses, and he can assume multiple shapes, multiple forms simultaneously, because he's not a creature limited to time, space, and place. So by morphe theou, Paul has not just what Jesus would look like in heaven, by which you would know who he is. It's talking about status. Further proof that Jesus didn't stop being God on earth, read Colossians 1:18-19. It says, on earth, as he seeks to reconcile the heavens and the earth, all of God's fullness was in him on earth. And he is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, and in everything he might be preeminent. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross. So at what point did Jesus cease having the fullness? Because it's talking about his role as creator and savior of the creation that he brought into being. I don't know if that answered your question, Rob.
Okay, can I respond now?
You're on. No. I just need to make a comment.
Wait. You interrupted me. Can I respond?
No one was talking to you. You asked the question. So down, girl.
I was asking the question in light of your discussion with Sam, because
no, but the thing is, you're adding layers on layers of garbage and falseness.
He's going
wait. I'm just making a comment. He's
going to make his comment, and then you're going to be able to give your response to when Sam exposed you saying that God has a body. So
yeah, hopefully,
go ahead, Rob, make a comment, and then Terry, you'll have the floor to respond to that.
All right.
Just patience, my brother.
So the common Christi in Philippians 2 is probably it's a hymn, and it's probably the best summarization of what would be a perfect illustration of the incarnation following early Christian tradition on the kenosis of Christ. So in other words, as Sam was pointing out, all these theophanies of God are forms of kenosis, and the ultimate is basically the incarnation into human form, which Hebrews 2 communicates, quoting Psalm 8, that he has to go below the divine and take on the carnality of human flesh. And I find it interesting that morphe only occurs twice in the New Testament, here in Philippians 2 and Mark 16:12.
Yes, where
Jesus appears in another morphe to the two disciples on the Emmaus Road. So that fits with this language that, the common Christian is trying to communicate, that he has status, divine status with the Father. In other words, equality. He can't overdo the Father, or he can't steal from the Father, depending on how you translate that the Greek word there. So the only direction he can go is to go down, and hence become a slave or a servant. But then you have that Greek word that defines it as now he's being generated. In other words, there's an actual fleshy body that's being produced, formed for him to incarnate. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for wearing the pompons. Can I respond to all the false assertions that were made? Number one,
I want you to respond. I want you specifically to respond to the last claim that we left off on with Sam. That when he addressed you saying that God has a body.
Okay. So first of all, let's go with the logic. Number one, the fact that God is outside of time and space, which I believe, does not necessitate that he doesn't have a divine body, eternal body, a spiritual body. You see already manifestation. I didn't even finish. I just stipulated my first point. The first point, 1 Corinthians 15, verse 40, says there's a divine body and a celestial body and a human earthly body. So I believe that the Son of God, the Father, and I believe Yahweh has a divine body, a celestial body. So logically, it does not necessitate that he is outside of time and space, that he cannot have a divine eternal body. That's totally stupid and ridiculous. Anybody? Number two,
Terry, you're stuttering.
Yeah, no problem. Number two, you're manifesting. Avery. No. I want to address both points. Avery, you're manifesting your face. Your face is manifesting.
Did you see what we said?
Relax. One point at a time.
Let's destroy your butchering of 1 Corinthians. Did you see celestial? Again, the guy thinks he knows.
Why is he going to a different point?
Because
this is the point you brought up.
I just went to philosophy.
Terry, relax, Terry. No, just relax, Terry. You literally, in answering Sam, you said that it's not illogical because there are celestial bodies and there are terrestrial bodies. Hold on a second. So he's addressing the point that you just made, your point number one. So let him respond to that, please.
Okay, no problem. But he spoke for 15 minutes. I did 15 seconds.
He spoke to Rob. Him and Rob had a conversation. It had nothing to do with you.
And I raised that question to actually refute your pointer.
Let me go.
Yeah, you didn't refute nothing.
What he wants to do is, that's why he hides behind time limits, so he can throw 10,000 points, because he can't.
Exactly.
That's what formal debates are for? That's what formal debates are for?
This ain't a formal debate. This ain't a formal debate.
Hey, Legion, shut up for a minute, Legion. Down, girl.
Yeah, partially.
In 1 Corinthians 15, again, the guy, he thinks he knows the Bible. Celestial, that's heavenly, but heavenly is part of creation. God created the heavens and the earth. So again, he quoted a verse that talks about there are celestial bodies, which is part of time, space, and place. But if God created time, space, and place, that means he is timeless, spaceless, and placeless. But did you catch the contradiction? That even though God is outside of time and space, he can have a body. But if he has a body that requires space, then how is he outside of space? Now address that.
Okay, number one, 1 Corinthians 15, verse 40 doesn't say the celestial body necessitate. Already interrupting. Already, hey, Avery, how about you be a partial moderator? How about you be a partial? A Christian is supposed to be impartial in his judgment. This is what Shamoun does. He doesn't want a formal debate because he wants to hide.
This is what I want, Terry. This is what I want.
Again,
I either want you to be able to respond to the argument that Sam just made, or just drop off, bro.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to try to respond.
We don't do the crying up here. We don't do the crying.
Oh, crying. Hey, I'm not the one interrupting every 5 seconds.
Shut up and answer, dude.
Again, interrupting.
So you're the one.
I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try again. And hopefully your master is going to be able to quiet so I could respond.
You saw he used the word celestial, right?
Yes. You're not the one.
When I use the same word, and when I use the same word, look, he said, hey, dude, I wanted to become Muslim. You didn't do ruqya to convince me Islam is true.
Allahu Akbar.